Anecdotes for success. Level up with truth, meaning, trade-offs, perspective.
All right, I have two super awesome guests on today. I gave Matt the week off because this is too important for even Matt to be on. I have Chelsea Bailey, Kelly Smith on. They're my colleagues at the New Visions Academy. We think it's the best way to teach high school seniors on the planet. And I know a lot of you have heard about Matt and I talk about New Visions all the time and how he mentors and all the exciting things we get to do outside of the classroom. So I brought them both in. A is living proof that I actually do have colleagues and I teach somewhere, and B to explain all the fun stuff we do. Chelsea, how are you today?
I'm good, Paul. How are you?
Good. Explain to everybody what, for now at least, what the title of the course is that you teach, or the program, I should say, not course.
Yep, I teach New Visions Health Careers Exploration.
And Kelly Smith?
Hey, I'm Kelly Smith and I teach New Visions Human Services and Education.
Awesome. And for those of you that do or don't know, Paul Richmond, I teach innovation, leadership, and business. And what New Visions is, we're an academy model. We're all public school employees. We go around to 8 surrounding school districts, and when kids are in 11th grade, we try to recruit them to come to our program. And it's great because if we don't recruit anybody, we don't have a program and a job. So there's a real incentive there to have a program that kids find exciting and somewhere they'd want to be at. If they're interested, they apply, and then we bring them in for an interview, and we only select the top 24 to 30 kids for each program. And then what happens after that, when they're a senior in high school, they spend 2 hours a day with us. They either come in from 9 to 11 in the morning, or they come in from 12 to 2. So what's interesting about our model is we're taking high school seniors when they think they're the top of the food chain at their public high school, involved in all sorts of activities and athletics, and we bring them away from their school to merge with kids from other high schools for a wonderful experience. And there's almost no rules. We all have curriculums. We'll get into how many college credits we offer, but I think the real exciting part about New Visions is these kids are experiencing career exploration. They're learning so many soft skills that aren't taught anymore. They're learning to build relationships and network and solve problems before they go away to college. So far I've done most of the talking. Kelly, let's start with you. Did I explain the program well enough, or what should I add? Or let's talk about what an average day would be like.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the students, there really is, we laugh about when people ask us what an average day is, because there really is no average day. The students come in and they get college English credits on Wednesday. So they all come together as a group. All 3 of our classes come together in my larger room, and they get English credits through our English teacher that teaches through Corning Community College. But really our kids are coming in, and when kids become seniors in high school, at least in New York State, they really just have their English, government, and economics credit plus a phys ed requirement for their senior year. So we do give the government economics credits plus the English. So really the only thing they have to take back at their home school is the phys ed plus any other upper level classes they want to take. And I know we'll get into the college credits in a little bit, but the greatest thing about coming to New Visions is they are, like Paul explained, they're kids that come together. They all have similar interests, and they get together from different high schools and work collaboratively on projects. Do you want me to talk a little bit about what my curriculum is, or not yet?
We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a minute. Chelsea, we were lucky enough to find Chelsea last fall. She is a first-year teacher at the New Visions Academy because our older colleague retired. Chelsea, when you came on board and wondered what the year would be like, and we kind of always told you, just buckle up and wait and see what happens, right? Were we wrong? Like, is it hard to grasp what you're really doing until you do it?
Yeah, it's hard to put this into words. I don't even know where you'd start, really. Every day looks completely differently. Paul will come in at 8 a.m. and tell us we're doing something completely different at 9 because he got a good opportunity than what was planned for that day. So I think that's the beauty of it, though, is you really can pick and choose and take any opportunity you want to, and it really gives the kids a really well-rounded experience.
Yeah, it's incredible. And we'll talk a little bit more about there is structure, even though the beauty of it, there's flexibility supersedes structure. I guess that would be the best way to say it. Let's talk about the college credits. So, Kelly, when we were out recruiting, you are usually the one that tells the kids all about the college credits. So, tell everyone what they get when they come to New Visions as a senior in high school.
All right. So as far as high school credits go, they get their government and economics credits. They are not college level. They're just regular high school integrated credits that are integrated into all of our curriculums. And then we also give up to 22 college credits. So I already mentioned we get the English credits on Wednesday. That's English 1010 and 1020. So that's all of their college English that they need. Plus we give 3 ACE professionalism credits, 3 ACE first year experience credits, 3 ACE personal finance credits, which is going to be starting next year, which we're excited about, ACE public speaking. And then in my class, we do get the ACE foundations of education as well. And then I think next year, we're going to be adding in that CPR and first aid credit as well. So 18 to 22 college credits.
Yeah, and we always get asked by, well, not as much school counselors anymore, but by a lot of people, how do you fit all those classes into the experience? And besides English, how do we fit all the other credits in?
Well, we have the students for 2 hours a day. So it's really great because we can a lot of those classes that we're teaching overlap with each other. So there's a lot of integration, a lot of crossover with different things. For example, when we're talking about first year experience and we're having students do some career research projects, they have to present on that. So that also counts as public speaking and being able to get up in front of others and speak, in addition to a lot of other things that we do that we're going to talk about when we get into the rotations and everything. But there is there's a lot of crossover, like our ACE English classes, the students do a research paper, but that also, they have to do research paper also for foundations of education. So we can kind of utilize, multiple resources for multiple classes. So it's great.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly. Chelsea, explain the concept of what we call rotations.
Yeah, so rotations are across all 3 programs, but they look a little different based on which program you're in. So mine primarily take place across the variety of settings that are healthcare related. So I have kids who go to ARNIT weekly, who rotate through all the different units there. And then we have some school placements for PT, OT, school nursing, chiropractics, dermatology, across the whole gamut of things. And then we have a lot of field trips that take place as rotations too. Things like we go to the live cadaver lab, speech and hearing clinic, the funeral home, Guthrie Air, anything healthcare related.
And you're usually out of the classroom 1 to 2 days a week, correct?
Yep.
Kelly, tell us about your rotations.
Well, my students are really interested in focusing on either being teachers somewhere in the educational field, or social work, psychology, mental health services. And also I have a larger number interested in law too. So we really get into family law. So a lot of the settings that they're kind of all over the place. They go out once a week, sometimes twice a week, depending, either in schools, human service agencies. I've got some students in the mental health unit at the hospital. I have a lot of students out in law offices, public advocate's office. So it really just depends on what the students' interests are. I have some students that really know they want to be teachers, so they've spent an extensive amount of time in the same classroom, just developing those relationships with the mentors and the students, which has been really helpful. But we also go out to the prison. We get to experience the mental health unit at the prison, as well as the youth assistance program that's there as well, among many other places, Child Advocate Center, and, Trinity Drug Rehab. I mean, the list goes on and on. Anywhere where they're providing mental health services or education or legal services, we head out wherever we can get ourselves into.
Awesome. And I mean, my class being the business oriented class. I have the kids that are thinking of engineering, accounting, marketing, finance. We do a lot of internships in regards to that. What rotation slash internships do we do together? What organizations have we worked with together? Again, because we have these opportunities that come up, and we all have books and curriculum we can talk about, but they can actually do those assignments on their own theoretically, and we have the freedom to just go help out organizations. Where have we helped in the past?
Well, Chelsea and I both went to the speech and hearing clinic because we both have students. There's a lot of crossover between human services and health, obviously, as well as crossover between our programs as well, Paul. But in terms of like all going together, we've done some projects with downtown development in our area where we're going out and we're, decorating store windows as a community service project that we all do together. We've gone to the Wings of Eagles. Where else?
Food bank.
Food bank. And also we all really helped collaborate on the Cam Awesome project as well, just with that and other shows that you guys have put together in the past, getting that information out to the schools and getting kids interested in coming to the shows. So there is a lot of collaboration between all of our programs for sure.
Absolutely. Chelsea, what happens if a student's out on a rotation and turns out towards the end of the school year, they've changed their mind on what career they want to pursue? What happens to them?
Well, I think that's why we send them out on rotations. What a career might look like on TV in your head is a lot different than what a career looks like every day. So we have a lot of flexibility in that. I have people that are going on different types of internships now because they've taken a big shift. I have one who was dead set on going to nursing school, went and job shadowed with a PT, now wants to do PT or OT. So, we work around that. It's a good thing about why you get a wide range of experiences, so that you can see what other careers are really out there.
Yeah, and there's really no harm cost wise or education wise or time. I mean, they've lost some time maybe if they change their mind, but they're still in high school. Kelly, we always talk a lot about granted, we have a lot of smart students grade point average wise, but you always talk about with the students that the reason they're most successful in college is not because of their IQ, but what?
Their EQ. So when our students come in and they apply to the program, they get in, they already have a set of things that they need to show. They need to make sure that they've done 3 years of Regents math and science, that they've done well in a school setting. They've already proven they can take a test and pass it and do all those other things. So really, we like to say that in New Visions, we give them the test of life, and what is their emotional intelligence? And what I mean by that, for those of you that don't know, is, how are they managing their time? How are they managing their relationships with other people? Are they able to ask, be interdependent and ask questions of people when they don't know the answer? And that is oftentimes the one key skill that, when kids go to college, they may academically be fine, but emotionally it's a struggle. And so you'll see a lot of students that are smart kids, that end up leaving college and coming back because it's the emotional intelligence that they need to develop. And so I feel really confident when we graduate our students to go off to college that they're ready for that in all aspects.
Absolutely. They've explored lots of careers by the time they graduate high school and this program. So they're not tempted to change their mind as much in college, even though it could happen. But they've also learned how to talk to strangers, right? How to react to uncomfortable situations, how to put themselves out there, how to join clubs. And those are all relationship building things that will keep somebody more apt to stay in a new situation, right? I think we pride ourselves on that a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Chelsea, we always joke that nothing we do in here is like rocket science because we don't have a rocket science program, of course, but how do we keep track of all the assignments? What's our main tool that the kids almost kick and scream at first to join?
We use Teams a lot here. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, and our calendar. Teams.
Calendar,
Talk about how we collaborate a lot of our assignments through Teams.
Yeah. So we do all have a Google Calendar, which we keep track of assignment due dates, where we're going, where everybody's going, who's coming in to talk. And then we do a lot through Teams. So all your assignments are on there, which very clearly gives you a due date, and that's how we grade and get things back as well. So in Teams, you can do Zoom type things like this on. You can give quizzes, assignments, all sorts of fun things. And it sends you reminders when things are due. So we couldn't make it easier. And you're right, like you've already proven you're very intelligent, hardworking, and smart to get into this program. So what we do here isn't rocket science, but it gives you a really good view on life and much more important skills. So.
Yes. And, I feel like so far we've talked about, oh, it's so much fun and we're out traveling and experiencing things and exploring careers, but we do have curriculum. So I'll start first just to switch the order this time. My class, Innovation, Leadership, and Business, we have a textbook called Business, Marketing, and Finance. We focus on those core areas along with a lot of entrepreneurship. And we basically go through a chapter a week for most of the year. And the neat thing about having the curriculum is when we go out on our experiences, all of a sudden the kids have learned certain concepts, and then we practice what we preach, or we practice what we teach in the real world. So that's what I do. Kelly, what's your core curriculum based on?
So our core curriculum is basically Foundations of Education, Introduction to Teaching, which a lot of times people tend to think that my program is just about teaching, but really it's not. It's learning the vocabulary that you're going to hear in different human service agencies, schools, and realizing how they're all connected and how people come together in a community and work to help not only children, but families as well. So we work a lot on that. We have another textbook called Principles of Human Services, where we go into mental health services. It's really human development, developmental psychology, and terminology that you're going to hear out in the real world. And again, just like Paul said, we go out and the students learn all the vocabulary terms, they understand concepts, and then they go out and practice it, which is really awesome. It's a great thing to be able to have that aha moment when they're out on their rotations.
Chelsea, your curriculum?
Yep. So I follow a curriculum book called Health Careers Today. And it kind of gives you an overall look at the healthcare system from both organization and the legal side of it, which gives the students more of an idea of how it all works together. It also goes through a lot of anatomy and body systems and a lot of disease process. So we focus a lot on what's wrong, where do you go for that, who treats you, things like that. So then they can make the connections when they're in the hospital about, oh, like I saw this today and this was the tool used, or I went into the OR today and I saw the Da Vinci used, and that was really interesting. We learned about that. And we do some hands-on skills too related to the different systems of the body and how we both assess and treat those.
That's awesome. And sometimes with all the activities and collaboration, mentorships / rotations we do, I don't even know how we get through the curriculum, but we make it work, don't we?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about collaboration, because we call ourselves an academy because we clearly just stated how all three of us have different curriculums. What are some of the things we do as groups all the time in the classroom when all three classes merge? We have a big meeting area, so on English days all the kids come in and get have their English instruction with a qualified English teacher. But what are some of the things we use that room for with the three of us?
We do FIEX in there, which is exciting. FIEX and Money Mondays. So FIEX is first year experience. So you learn a lot of skills, specifically from Kelly, a lot about how to adjust, make that transition to your first year of college, and a lot about emotional intelligence that she was talking about. So that's fun. And Paul, you do Money Monday if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, well, the first year experience is wonderful. My favorite unit's when Kelly talks about the crazy makers in life, right? And the kids all laugh, but then it dawns on them that's pretty much most of them. So it's a great awareness thing. The Money Mondays are fun. We talk everything finance, and this is the time of year I actually have students that have turned 18 and are starting to open up their own brokerage accounts. And what a superpower. Kelly, I don't know what you were going to say next, but I want you to say this first. What's the project we just finished up that we're presenting now that the kids kick and scream the whole time, but get so much value out of it?
So we have two major projects. Well, we have three major projects for first year experience. The first one being time management. And then we have career part 1 and career part 2. The time management, I'll start with that, if that's okay, just to kind of backtrack. It really is our first project to get them ready to understand, like they plan out their whole first semester of school and just break down all their assignments, utilize that Google Calendar, and we really get them trained to look at that and understand, to put due dates in and things like that. And then we transition into a lot of career research. Career part 1 really has them delve into some careers that they're really interested in, learn what colleges offer those majors, and then, costing out those colleges and things like that. And then right now, most recently, we're working on that career part 2 project where the students present, they really fast forward through life. They've just graduated from college and they have to plan out their life with a budget, and they, find a job listing, write a resume and a cover letter for that job, find a house, a car, everything basically. They go and they create this budget and see if they can afford their desired lifestyle. And it's really funny because they always ask, well, does my budget have to work out? Do I have to be within budget? And I say, that's really up to you, because I really believe that there's learning in that both ways. They can make it work and see what they can afford on their own, or they can kind of look at what they would really like to happen for them in the future. And then they realize what they need to shoot for. So there's learning both ways, but it's a really great opportunity for them to get some real world skills and figure out life's expensive, and their parents do a lot for them. So
And I'm going to put you on the spot again. I know you've worked with Chelsea students. You do it with your students, and you've come in and done it with my students. Talk about the conflict stuff you do with our students.
yeah, so quite a few years ago, I want to say it's been 8 or 9 years ago, I was trained by the Community Dispute and Resolution Center on conflict mediation. Initially, we did that because we were working on doing a peer mediation group on campus. And then we also, prior to COVID, would go out to the schools and teach peer mediation to 5th and 6th graders. And then eventually that turned into a taco group that we worked with kids that really struggled with conflict and needed some skills to get through that. But I say mediation is a great skill for every student to learn. It's a life skill. It really just, the training entails just learning about what conflict looks like, what the cycle of conflict is, and then how you can find opportunity in conflict. Because, we talk about how people are different and we're all going to have different perspectives, and there's going to be problems and there's going to be conflict throughout everyone's life, in one way or another. And so really giving those skills to the students to be able to, get through their conflict and find the opportunity and to solve problems with, talking things out and listening and really not spiraling down. So it's a really great life skill that we teach all of the students here. And we've been teaching it to the other campuses as well for the New Visions programs.
It's really something, it's new and strange to them, because I don't think normal classrooms have time for that because they're too busy with everything else. So it's really priceless. I want to touch base now. We talked a little bit about what we do in the community. What types of activities do we do at the end of the year to try to give back to the schools and give back to the community? So, who wants to take that one?
Chelsea, do you want to, or you want me to? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, what do we have? What do we have planned coming up at the end of May and June?
I haven't experienced it yet.
Well, I'll talk a little bit about it.
Kelly.
So a lot of the schools that my students go out to, oftentimes they have their field day events. And so we like to give back to the community and go out and help, work the stations, give the teachers a little bit of a break to be able to enjoy the day with their students. So we do that at several different schools in our region. And it's a great day. The kids really enjoy it, and it gets them to be able to have a little bit of fun at the end of their senior year.
All right, now Chelsea, question directed right at you. You're the rookie this year. So as the school year is winding down, could you have ever imagined being part of something like this?
No, I didn't really know it even existed. So
What was your job? what's your field before you became a teacher?
Oh, I'm a nurse. I'm an RN by trade. I have been for over a decade now. So I went from the hospital, worked in the public health sector throughout the pandemic, and then landed here. So, something else that we went to that we didn't touch on was we went to a really great job fair at Waverly, which was really exciting for the kids. Really eye-opening for me, the biggest job fair I've ever partaken in. But just another way for the kids to get out there and see what careers are available now for them, and then as they continue in their sought after career. So,
And when we say we went to a job fair or the kids can explore careers, I can't reiterate enough that we have the flexibility on any given day to move out of the classroom, right? I mean, our Facebook page literally says the world is our classroom, and we like to think that we can take the classroom outside the normal walls any day. I'll ask Kelly this one. Kelly, do you think a normal high school could set up a program like this? Like all the kids, we're at a BOCES, we're at a vocational school. Like we have our little program within there, and kids from other districts come meet us. Do you think a school district by themselves could set a program up similar to this?
I mean, I think so. The only thing that would be different is they wouldn't get the, variety of students coming together, which is a really cool thing to
Yes.
do. I think that's what makes it really special to come to a vocational school and do that. But could a school district have a course that would allow students to come together and have job opportunities and shadowing and do all these things? Absolutely. But it's just really cool when you can have, lots of different districts together.
Yeah, I talk about it all the time. As a coach, I often have kids in class that I'm coaching against from other schools. And then we have students in class that are best friends because they're just a mold of each other, but from a different school district. And then they're competing against each other on a quarter field or a track. And that would be, well, you couldn't imitate that. You're right. But I really think we always talk about how we could write a blueprint for this, and any school in the country or any region in the country could set this same thing up. And I don't know why more people don't do that. Do you guys have any thoughts on why schools don't pursue this type of learning? There must be some of it out there that we're just not privy to. But why don't public schools like create this model that we're excelling in? And I'll before I have you answer a question, I think I just asked a question in there somewhere. We have so many kids that we can only keep about half of the students that we interview, which is terrible because it's almost an experience any student could benefit from. So why don't you think schools do this?
I think it's time and finances. I think that a lot of times schools are focused on core subjects, college credits, core subjects, getting through the graduation requirements. But what often gets lost is and it's very evident to us because we're on the other side of this, when we're interviewing students saying, hey, what is it that you're wanting to do with the rest of your life? And sometimes kids have a pretty clear idea, or they think they have a clear idea, but more often we get deer in headlights. Like they have no idea what they want to do because there's not a lot of career exploration going on. And it always shocks me a little bit because I realize like these kids are going to graduate and they really have done no self-discovery. They really don't know themselves. And I always tell the students, in order to know what you want to do with the rest of your life, you need to really know yourself and know what your strengths are and know what you love to do, because you want to have a job where you don't work a day in your life. You want to have a job that you're passionate about, that you love. I mean, ideally that would be great for everybody, but you really need to have that opportunity to explore and do some job shadowing and figure out what you're good at and what you love.
Yeah, I think like anything, it's a really big shift in how the schools teach currently. And it just takes time and, proof through what we're doing that it is successful and making a shift.
It really does. The so-called high grade student, the smart student, they're programmed. You have to go to college. Doesn't matter how much debt you take out. Doesn't matter what you do. You're going to have this nice job and career. But if they don't know themselves or haven't explored careers, it can become a trap very quickly, can it? And I think, we have students graduate that still pivot lots of times because, for various reasons. But I feel like in that case, all right, they may not have found the career they wanted with us, but they have the skills to cope with all the change too. Here's my next question. We'll kind of end on this. There's a huge homeschool movement going on right now. A lot of people homeschool kids. Do you think if you homeschool kids up through ninth or 10th grade, could they benefit by coming to a program like us? Could we almost be standalone and just live in a county and say, hey, any homeschooled student, you're now in 10th or 11th grade, you need to come to the New Visions Academy. Would that work? Or would it be beneficial for them?
Oh, absolutely. Socially, this would be the best thing for any student who, I mean, there's a lot of difference in homeschooling now, though. I know there's a lot of co-op efforts and it's not just staying at home. It's more of like a community effort to school kids. But yeah, I mean, what better way to see the outside world of these programs and socially meet other kids that you never would have? Like Kelly was saying before, that's my favorite thing about New Visions is the beginning of the year, you had all these kids come together who didn't know each other. It was really quiet. Now it's complete chaos because they're all very best friends. They've all found a way to go to each other's proms and senior nights for sports. So, they've created a little family just like they would in college, but they have that experience in high school. They know how to reach out to people, how to meet people. That's my favorite thing about New Visions.
Any thoughts, Kelly?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it would be beneficial for anybody. I wish every high school student had this opportunity. Honestly, I feel like there are some schools that will do some career exploration courses for sure. But there needs to be more of it. And there are some schools that don't do any of that or do very little. And so I just think we need to really focus our attention, especially when those students are getting to the 11th and 12th grade years, to start thinking about their future. And, because college is expensive. These kids are realizing that when they're doing these projects, and to not go in with any information. And like you said, they may not leave here 100% what they want to do, but I always tell them, finding out what you don't want to do is equally as important, because, you don't want to go and waste money burning it up, at a college trying to figure it out there. To be able to do that a little bit more in high school is very, very beneficial for them financially and otherwise.
It's like when we're out on the recruiting trail and I always ask kids if they know what they want to do. And I'm like, oh, my job's to change your mind. And they always just look at me like everybody else has said I'll be great at it.
Yeah.
But that's the power. We keep joking. Maybe someday there's no reason this New Visions Academy has to be tied to any type of organization. I think there's countless kids in the country that would benefit from a combination school that teaches experiences over curriculum, right? And functioning skills over testing. Did I sum that up right? I kind of just made that up on the spot.
Yeah. And and I like how you asked what Chelsea's background was, because I get that question all the time from people. They're like, wow, your job seems so amazing. What do you have to be certified in to do this or whatever? And, in terms of like New York State, really for my position, you really just have to have a certification to teach education, history, something that along the lines of the courses that we teach here. So, I started out my career as a speech therapist. I would have never known that I was going to end up teaching high school students career exploration, but it's the greatest thing ever because I get to still go out to the schools and enjoy that piece of it too, and see all my old colleagues. So yeah, I ended up getting a speech therapy degree, communicative disorders and sciences. And then I taught pre-K special ed for a while, because I could do that with that degree. And then ended up getting my master's in education, which allowed me to teach through 12th grade. So, but that would be what you would need to do that. And I know, Paul, you can talk about your educational background, or maybe you have before on this podcast, but.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, I was in the business world, the banking industry, before I went back to be a teacher. And now it's come full circle because now I'm teaching a business class and I'm still getting to teach. Yeah, I'm going to put our website in the podcast bio when we do this, and it has all our contact information if anybody's interested in reaching out or asking questions. We're blessed to get to do what we get to do, and it's kind of ironic in this day and age where there's a teacher shortage and where everybody's talking about how there's so many responsibilities and education is broken and needs to be fixed. We kind of just fly under the radar getting to do our thing, don't we?
Yep.
Well, you're episode 73, and I promise you're not going to be episode 146. You guys are coming on. You guys are
picking
coming.
on him. It took him 73 times to get us on here. We were at 73 on the list.
I wish I had the software to talk so it could track how many times I've talked about our program. And then it dawned on me, wait a minute, let's kick Matt off for the week and let's do our thing. So, hey,
We love Matt too.
yes, we do, but I needed to show your faces and we needed to get our program out there, and we're gonna have you back as regular guests. Well, whether you like it or not, you're just gonna be back as regular guests. So
Definitely
Chelsea,
100, the 100th episode. We want to be a part of that.
I already invited you to that. So yeah, that's a done deal. All right, Chelsea and Kelly, thank you.
Thanks. Bye,
Paul.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.